Yeah, thanks, Rahul. Thanks for joining back. So we'll go ahead with your interview. And the next
Yeah.
question is, what is binding?
Okay. The data binding.
Yeah, in Angular, I'm asking about. We are done with the C sharp interview questions, right? So I'm progressing with
Okay.
the Angular interview questions. What do you mean by binding
Okay.
in
So
Angular?
data binding. Yeah. Then data binding is something like it is used component to the template or from the template to the component.
Okay.
So that is the main advantages of binding. So whether you want to pass a data from the component to the view, so we make use of a binding. We bind the values, we bind the data, and we just send it them. So there are different types of bindings like interpolation, and then property binding, event binding, and then two-way data binding.
Mm-hmm.
Two-way data binding is nothing but a combination of property and event binding.
Okay. So different types of
Yeah.
binding available in Angular.
Property binding, event binding, two-way data binding,
Mm-hmm.
and interpolation.
Okay.
So property binding is binding the data uh, component to the view. So interpolation also does the same. It just bind the data from the component to the view. And then the second is event binding. So it just gets the response or events which has occurred. For example, if I click on submit or anything, so it
Mm-hmm.
just receives the response, and from that response we are just binding the parameters uh, binding the parameters to the component. So it is from the view to the template or component emitter. So that is event binding. Next,
Okay.
two-way data binding is a combination of property and event binding. So it binds the parameters in two ways, both from view to the template and from the template to the view.
Okay. Okay. So what is dependency injection in Angular
Yeah.
4?
Uh,
Dependency injection in Angular 4.
Dependency injection is used for yeah, it is component.
Mm-hmm. Can you come again? What you said?
Yeah, it is used for injecting the services into the component. So we will be creating more lots of services, and
Mm-hmm.
we need those services to be placed into a particular component. We use a dependency injection, like constructed dependency injection is used
Okay.
to achieve.
So yeah. So what is ng module?
Yeah, ng module is
Mm-hmm.
so you are asking about ng module or model?
Ng module.
Okay, module.
Yeah.
So module is so it's a base where we will be creating a module. We will be using of ng module, and we will be creating a module structure.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a declarations. Sorry. So within an ng module, there will be different decorators which will identify that this is a particular module.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
So see, module is nothing but it's defined as a file, right? So where all the components, directives,
Yeah.
pipes, services are interlinked
Correct.
and all
Correct.
grouped together to make
Correct.
it a proper and perfect working application for Angular, right? So that is the use of the module.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
at module, what are the metadata properties of ng module?
Yeah, so ng module consists of major five
Mm-hmm.
decorators or metadatas we can say. So the metadatas are declaration,
Mm-hmm.
and so which is used to declare the components.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second is providers. So
Mm-hmm.
providers is used to the services whichever we are going to use will be placed under the providers.
Mm-hmm.
And next import,
Mm-hmm.
which is used to import other modules, and then export, where we can export our components from our whatever components needs to be exported from the module can be present in the export.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally comes the bootstrap. So bootstrap is mainly used on the main module, and what bootstrap does is when you place a component inside a bootstrap, it will make the component as an app, a root component.
Okay. There are a few more factors as well, like schemas, entry components, and ID. So these are like another
Okay.
major factors of metadata inside the ng module. So you can just go through this when you get time on this. Okay.
Okay.
All other things are like, yeah, it is essential factors of metadata. Uh, okay. So let me go and ask you something about the Angular. Like, what do you think? Like, what do you mean by element ref in Angular? Element refs. Have you heard of element
Okay,
ref? Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah, element ref is used to directly
Mm-hmm.
get the values from the UI. So from the host element in the sense
Mm-hmm.
from the UI part wherever we are working. So from the host, we will be directly getting the values
Mm-hmm.
from that host using element ref keyword.
Okay.
So suppose if the name is an
Mm-hmm.
I have a name as a parameter in the view, and that view I want to using the element reference whatever value I have been typed on the name, I can be fetch it from directly from the view. But this
Okay.
is not mostly recommended because element ref is directly contacting the
Mm-hmm.
host.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So in that case, we will go for a host listeners and host binding.
Okay. So different types of component decorators in Angular.
uh,
Component decorator.
Component decorators.
Yeah.
uh, Component decorators, yeah, it's like a same no component decorator in the sense you're asking about this selectors, all these things
Have
which
you
are
heard
present
about
within a
class
component, right?
decorators, parameter decorators, property decorators, method decorators? Yeah,
No.
actually, there are actually basically four types of component decorators in Angular. Like, first one is class decorator. Like, second one is parameter decorators. Like, it's used for parameter inside the classes and constructors. Okay. Property decorators and used for the
Okay.
properties inside the
Mm.
classes. Method decorators it used for methods inside the classes. So this is what about the different types of component, like the component decorators. So you can just go through this for component decorators whenever you get time on that. Okay.
Okay, sure,
This is
sure.
majorly like most of the in interviews you will get this question. So yeah, this is something like about four different kind of decorators which is available. Yeah,
Okay.
explain about
So you
eager.
mean that class decorators defines the class?
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, parameters. So if
Yeah,
you're dealing
and
with
the property
parameters, yes,
decorators depends upon the properties which we are writing
exactly,
parameters.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And method decorators like whatever methods like on init
So
and
on the
other
method level, you just
methods which
declare
we are
decorators. Yes, yes. There are different types of decorators which is
okay,
available in
okay,
Angular. Yeah. So yeah,
okay, okay.
let me go on to the next question. So eager loading in Angular. What do you mean by eager loading in Angular?
uh
Eager loading, lazy loading,
okay
eager loading. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, so eager loading is the thing like
And
the
before
module
going
is
to this,
directly
I want to
imported.
ask you one thing. There are how many types of loading which is available?
Yeah,
Mhm.
lazy loading and eager loading, two types.
No, there is one more loading,
uh
preloading. There is one more loading called preloading. So I guess you know
okay,
about eager loading and lazy loading. Just go ahead and explain about those things. So what
yeah,
do you know about eager loading? Yeah.
yeah, ego loading is the sense we are having a module and the module is directly imported into another module. So in that case, what will happen is the bundle size will increase and it will be present on the bundle only. And so that is the main example of ego loading. In
Mhm,
turn, what is the lazy loading is
mhm,
the module will not directly be imported into the another module. Instead, we will be making use of a root and using the routes we will be calling the particular module.
mhm.
So
Okay.
the main advantage of lazy loading is it will be called yeah, as I told, early loading the modules will be directly imported into the module, whereas in terms of lazy loading, we will be providing separate routes for that lazy loading. That is a we will be creating a lazy loading by separate command itself, and this lazy loading, what it does is only when we pass a particular route, that a particular module will be called. That's the main advantage of it.
Mhm,
So the bundle and this lazy loading, the whatever module is loaded lazily,
mhm.
it will be not added to the bundle. So this in turn reduces the bundle size, and it is more cost effective.
Okay. So let me go on to the next question. So have you ever used guards in Angular?
Uh, yeah. And before that, you told there are three loading. So may I know what is the preload stands for?
You just asking about the preloading thing.
Yeah.
See, like like that like as usually ego loading something like is a module format which has to import into the Angular 4, right? So
Yeah.
there's something like ng module decorator. We'll just use that. So preloading in a sense like when you're dealing with small size Angular applications. So what happens? So it will run before running your application itself. So preloading happens.
Okay.
So when you're when you're just trying to get the application loaded on the page, so there itself will just try to load the already data which is required for you. So that's something like the name suggests, it's a preloading thing. So if we want to just have a more details on that, like let's try to take an example and try understand that. So when I say about the preloading, hello.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm listening.
they must say that like there are some piece of data you want to just load it at the beginning of your application as well. So when you say
Mm.
particular preloading in like any not in in Angular, so like most of the that is already also called as preloading is something like a loading data before even the event or something happens occurs. I say that like
Okay.
in any click event or load event, something whatever happens before that, either it can be happen synchronously or asynchronously. Okay, so Angular is
Okay.
something like there is something Angular, it provides you two kinds of preloading mechanisms, and loading
Okay.
the modules asynchronously in the background is called as a preloading modules. It happens in the
Okay.
background actually. This technique should be used along with a lazy loading. This is about
Okay. Okay.
something definition and explanation about the preloading. Okay, so hope it answers your
Okay.
question.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So can we go to the next question?
Yeah. Sure.
So what is routing in Angular?
Uh, yeah. So routing in Angular is we will be providing a particular route for each and every module. So it may be a child routes or
Mm-hmm.
any other routes. Like for example, if you want to call
Mm-hmm.
a particular component, we'll be making use of the routes, and we'll be calling a particular modules, and they're the particular component which is present within that.
Okay. 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 So I guess you already had to answer on the guard. So you ever used guard on in Angular?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. What is the use
So
of it? Yeah.
guards are mainly used for authentication and authorization purposes.
Mm-hmm.
So using guards, what we can do is
Mm-hmm.
we can just provide conditions like while providing routes on the routes, we can make use of the guards. We can
Mm-hmm.
protect the routes by using the guards.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it is named as a guards. So what we will do is when a user enter in, we can just validate the user, and we can just perform authentication and authorization on the user, and after that only that particular routes should be shown to the user. So that's how we will be making use of guards.
Okay.
So there are different type of guards like can activate, can deactivate, can
Mm-hmm.
load,
Mm-hmm. So
and
what
can
do you
activate
think?
child.
Why do we need can activate?
Yeah, can activate is used whether I'm having a particular route, say from home page I need to from login page I need to go to the home page. So this
Mm-hmm.
home page should be shown, this home page should be activated, that particular component should be viewed by the user only when the particular requirement is satisfied. So in
Mm-hmm.
that case I will create a can activate guard, and I will make an application over it.
Okay. Okay. So have you ever used JWT? So how you making sure that your application is authenticated? So how do you make sure Angular application authenticated? So which one you implemented? So have you ever used JSON Web Token? So
Yeah,
if
we
no,
have
just
made
yeah.
use of a JWT token. So where we will be using receiving the web services and the JWT token along with it, and that particular JWT token will consist of all the details.
Mm-hmm.
So what we will do is when the user is logged in and when the username and password is written,
Mm-hmm.
so we will return the username and password to the JWT token, and we will get the response.
Mm-hmm.
And based on the response, we will store them on the local storage, and we will be performing the authentication and authorization.
Mm-hmm.
So as I told in my third project, so based on different login users, the particular whatever the features are accessible to him should be made visible to him. So in that case, we made use of authentication and authorization.
That's great. That's great. Okay. So do you know JW2 interceptor?
Yeah, so interceptors, the name defines like when there is a HTTP request is sent and we are getting a
Mm-hmm.
response from the server side.
Mm-hmm.
So in between, if you want to make some changes, we can make use of interceptors, which will intercept the request, and it will just we can make changes over the request. Like we can add a header, we can add an authentication rules, all those things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the main advantage of interceptors.
Okay. So what is JIT and AOT?
JITN.
JIT, just-in-time compilation.
You mean JIT?
Yes, JIT. Yeah.
Okay, JIT. Yeah, just-in-time compiler.
Yeah.
Okay, so just-in-time compiler, you're asking on C sharp?
No, here only in Angular. What is
Okay,
JIT?
it is okay. It is used to compile the code into a machine code, machine level code. So that is the main use of a just-in-time compiler.
Okay. See, JIT time compilation, which is known as a dynamic translation. Okay. And
Mm.
it's actually mainly used to execute the computer code when you have compilation code of Angular 4, right? So that is
Correct. Yeah.
yeah. And also you can say that like during the runtime of a program, preciously like prior to the execution. So that is what the
Yeah.
major use of JIT. So AOT, so
Correct.
ahead of time compilation. Any idea on that?
No, AOT I haven't heard of it.
Yeah, that is something like it that is used to convert your code during the build time before it loads on the browser. Okay.
Okay.
So this
Okay.
actually this is much more faster, rendering the browser because it happens at the at the to your core build time, right? So it is much faster compared to the JIT.
Okay. Okay.
And what do you mean by transpiling?
Uh,
Transpiler.
Transpile.
Yeah,
Hello.
transpiler. Have you heard of?
Okay, yeah, Transpila I heard of.
Yeah.
Initially, what we do is we are writing a when we are creating a component, the component will be created using TypeScript. So,
Mm-hmm.
but the machine understand only JavaScript. So, we by using a transpiler, we will just convert the TypeScript into a JavaScript.
Okay. So have you heard of Angular material? What is the use of it?
Angular?
Material.
No.
No. See, Angular material, it's a user interface component. Okay, so actually it help you to developing an attractive functionality and stable web pages
Okay.
as well as applications while maintaining the whatever sometimes you want to maintain best practices, browser probability, graceful degradation, so divide
Mm.
independence. All these things you can happen. No, you can just maintain by using the Angular materials. Okay,
Okay.
so you heard about a CDK?
What?
CDK means component development dev kit.
No.
No, that is it's a set of tools to implement the common interaction patterns to the code. You can just use CDK.
Okay.
So, and also have you heard of Flex?
Flux? No.
No, right? So that is something like it's a layout, a component engine. Actually, what happens, it will allow you to easily create a flex-based page layouts with a specific set of
Okay.
directives available for your template. So these are all like some of the
Okay.
very important topics which we must go through it again, okay? Because it's very
Okay.
you
Sure.
know
Sure.
how to use these things, okay?
Sure. Sure.
And what are all the providers in Angular? What are different kinds of providers you know?
Uh, Providers?
Yes, there are four types of providers which is available in Angular.
Um, no, I'm not aware of
Yeah,
providers.
class provider, factory providers, value providers, and alias providers. Again, just brush up
Okay.
your knowledge on this also. Okay.
Sure. Sure.
So okay, so and you also know, I think the basic like the creating a startup, like creating a projects, creating components, and
Yeah.
creating
Yeah.
your
Using Yeah, using
Authored,
Angular
committed.
CLI.
Yeah, why do you think we need Angular services?
Uh, okay, the Angular services are required. For example, if I want to,
Mm-hmm.
I'm having a component. I'm having a particular functionality in a component. So
Mm-hmm.
the same functionality I want to write it on another component.
Mm-hmm.
So I could not you make use of that component into another component. So in that case, what could I do is I could create a service, and
Mm-hmm.
using that service, I could just contact between these things. Like from one component to another component, I could share the same service.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So yeah, that's a main advantage, and it is used to communicate between one component to another component,
Okay.
and
Mm-hmm.
the functionalities can be shared across different components.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the
Okay.
main advantage.
Okay. What is the which file is the start page of your Angular? Which page will go?
Uh,
Yeah.
okay, angular.json is the starting page.
Okay.
Yeah, from angular.json, there are two files, main.ts and index.html.
Mm-hmm.
So from main.ts, it will be calling the root component and the root module, and then the root component. From the root component, the
Mm-hmm.
XML will be returned to index.html, and that index.html will be returned. And all the time, this index.html only will be rewritten.
Okay. So have you ever deployed a code, Angular code?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. How do you do it?
Hello.
Yeah. How do you do that?
Uh, yeah, actually, the deployment will be carried out by my seniors only. Like,
Yeah. Actually, have you ever done ng build dash dash prod? Have you ever tried to
uh,
run that?
no.
No, actually, what happens, like, when you want to deploy your package, right? So when you do ng build, right? So it's going to build your entire
Mm.
package to give it to you. So when you want to do
Okay.
deployment, so you like just go through that ng build hyphen prod. So just look at the difference between these two. Okay,
Okay.
you'll come to know how we can, you will get a package like, kind of thing for your deployment. Okay,
Sure. Sure.
so please
Okay.
go ahead and brush up your knowledge on how just deploy your Angular application in IIS. So where exactly you deploy that is also matters. So like make
Okay.
sure that you brush up your knowledge on these things, so because it is very important. Okay, so you must
Okay.
know how
Okay.
you like what the difference between ng build and ng prod as well. So when we are going to use it. So I mean, this is something like that is my suggestion from my side. So other than that,
Yeah. Sure.
it's like you're pretty much okay. I feel like 65 to 70% you're okay, and you still have to learn so many things in Angular. Okay,
Sure.
so I
Sure.
already
Okay.
provided my suggestions on these topics as well. Okay, just
Sure.
brush up your knowledge on Angular. So if you're okay, so we'll just go ahead and start with our SQL Server. So you're okay for that?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, Rahul, we'll start with your SQL intro questions. So I just want to start with
Y-
very basic questions for you. So later I'll move on,
Okay.
just move on to some difficult questions. Okay. So
Yeah. Sure.
what do you mean by DBMS? DBMS, RDBMS.
So, okay. So DBMS is database management system. So it is the name defines. It's like it is used to manage the database.
Okay.
So we'll be performing different operations like a DDAL, DML within the database management.
Okay. Then what
Yeah.
about RDBMS?
So RDBMS is a relationship database management system. So
Mm-hmm.
relationship database. So it is used to create the relationship between the two or three tables or mini tables from one to
Mm-hmm.
one mini relationship, one to many relationship, like
Okay.
that.
Okay. Okay. So you know the differences between primary key and unique key?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So primary key is used to uniquely identify a row. Like when
Mm-hmm.
I want to identify when I want to identify a row in a table,
Mm-hmm.
so I can make use of primary key and it uniquely identifies a row. So
Mm-hmm.
unique key also can be used to uniquely identify a row, but the thing is, a unique key can have a null value.
Okay.
So that's the difference between a primary key and unique key.
Okay. So okay. So what are different types of joins?
Yeah. So inner join, left join, right join,
Mm-hmm.
and a full join,
Right. Okay.
and then cross join.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. So these are the joins.
Okay. So what is normalization and denormalization?
Okay. So normalization is like
Mm-hmm.
I have a code and sorry, I have a table and the table looks like clumsy. Like all the data are present within the table. Like from it is just like the details are entered into the table without any proper segregation or without any normalization. So what we can do is we can just split up the tables. Like if there are many duplicate values, we can just remove those duplicate values.
Mm-hmm.
And then if there are
Mm-hmm.
some like if there are relationship between one and two values, we can segregate them into two tables,
Mm-hmm.
like
Okay.
making primary key and foreign key, and we can perform them.
Mm-hmm.
That's normalization. Denormalization is the an opposite way where There are many tables which are interlinked. We will be just combining them into a single table.
Okay. So different types of normalization. Yeah. There are whole different types of normalization.
Yeah, so there are five different types of normalization. So like the first normalization deals with the removal of the duplicates. The second normalization deals with splitting up of a table, where if there is a relationship between within one row and another row, we can just split it into two tables. So and then the third normalization is something like uh, so within that split, we can just create a clustered and all other indexing on them. So like that, we will just we'll be keep on splitting up the table, and we'll be reducing it, and it will be easy for us to track each thing.
Okay. Okay. So what is a view?
Yeah, so view is something like so using joins, we will just combine 3 to 4 tables, whichever values are required, and we will be displaying to the user. So for example, in our project, we made use of many views. For example, if there is a tax identifier and it requires the legal entity ID from a legal entity table, and then address value from the address table, and then case value from the case table. So what we will do is making use of a view, we will just collected all the whichever row, whichever columns are required for that view, and we will be collecting them, and we'll be displaying it to the user on a grid.
Okay. Okay. So what do you mean by index?
Okay, so index is something like index is used to identify like index the general notations, like we'll giving a 1 2 3 4 for a particular table, so which will be easy for us to track or retrieve a table.
Different types of indexes.
So performance can be,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
performance can be improved by using of indexes. Types of indexes are clustered and non-clustered index. So clustered index, it make use, there will be only one column which can be used as a clustered index. So mostly the primary key will be used as a clustered index. And non-clustered index is something like 2 or 3 columns combinedly can be used as a used to identify a row, or we will be creating an index by using 2 to 3 or columns or more than that.
Okay. So which index
Yeah,
will be applied automatically when the primary key is defined?
yeah, clustered index will be applied automatically on a table.
Yeah. Can you please think about that? Actually,
Hello.
there are three kinds of indexes which is available.
Okay.
So unique index and the cluster index and the non-cluster index.
Unique, yeah, sorry, yeah, unique index, sorry, yeah.
Correct. So that you know, right? So
Yeah,
unique index will be applied automatically when the primary key is defined.
yeah, correct,
Yes.
yeah, unique index will be automatically applied.
Exactly. Fine. So you're pretty much okay with the clustered and non-clustered, right? So you are already created
Yeah,
different indexes for this. So have you ever created cursors?
correct. Yeah, so cursors are used to like when we are updating a table, and that particular value, like when there is an insert or anything happening, it will be present on the cursor. So by cursor, we'll be retrieving single values from a table, like each and every values can be selected from a table using a cursor. Cursor is nothing but it points to the rows in a table.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
So have you ever created
using
procedures,
it.
store
Yeah,
procedures?
yeah, I have created a stored procedures. So stored procedures are used to perform a different like it's like simple like a method which is used to perform different operations for which are required. uh, and using a stored procedure, the stored procedure will be retrieved by the C# and .NET codes.
Okay. What is the difference between procedure and the functions?
Okay, so stored procedures, inside the stored procedures, what we will be carrying out is we'll be carrying out different DML functions, like what our modifications can be changed, like insert, update, delete. All these things will be carried out in the
Mhm.
procedures. Whereas in functions, what we'll be doing is we'll be performing the we'll be selecting a table and we'll be sending the table back.
Mhm.
And another major difference is procedure does not have it can have a return type or it could not have a return type, whereas in function it should have only a return type.
Mhm. Okay. Have you ever created triggers?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so triggers are nothing but
Mhm.
when I create a table, and because of that I want some changes when on the
Mhm.
another table. Suppose if I insert something on a table, so another table needs to be updated. So in
Mhm.
that case I can make use of trigger.
Okay. Fine. So you are aware of how you can create triggers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So difference between delete and truncate.
Difference between delete and truncate.
Yeah.
Okay, so delete, what it does is each and if I want to remove a row, like each and every row can be removed by you making use of a delete. Whereas when you perform truncate on a table, the complete entire thing will be removed. All
Mhm.
the rows will be removed.
Okay. Fine.
And delete can be rolled back, whereas truncate could not be rolled back.
Okay. So the difference between the local and global variables. Do you know what is local variable and global variables?
Yeah, so
Mhm.
when we declare a variable as a local and we are trying to use it in the procedure or somewhere else, so it will
Mhm.
be only to that particular portion, like only to that scope. Whereas global is something like it is the variable whichever is declared will be available at all the scopes.
Mhm. Okay. So you need to select when we declare a variable inside the function, if it is available only for that function, it's called as local variables, right?
Yeah,
So when you declare function
yeah,
and it's
correct.
available for other functions as well, so it's called as global variables,
Mm.
right? So
Yeah.
fine. So have you heard of data integrity?
No.
Okay. See, data integrity defines the accuracy and the consistency of a data stored inside a database. Like, it also can be defined with a integrity constraints to enforce business rules on the data when it enters into the application or database. Okay, just go through this topic as well. This is one of
Okay.
the very important question. What is the data integrity? And
Okay.
so what do you mean by auto increment? Next question.
Okay, so auto increment is something like when
Mm-hmm.
so there is a column. For example, ID is a column. Okay, so when we add a
Mm-hmm.
when we add a row to the when we add a row to the table, this ID should keep on incrementing. Instead of what we writing an ID each time, if it is keep on incrementing, it will be very helpful for us. So at that time we'll be making use of identity, and
Mm-hmm.
we can perform auto increment over
Okay.
a column in a table.
So have you heard of data warehouse?
Data,
Warehouse.
yeah, where the all the data will be stored.
Yeah, data warehouse is a central repository of a data from multiple sources of information. Okay, so actually the
Yeah.
data, or like something like transformed and consolidated and made available for the mining and online processing. So warehouse data have a subset of data called as data marts. So there's something like it's like a big data centers which is available for other source of information.
Okay.
So there's something with data warehouses. Okay.
Okay.
So have you heard of
Okay.
user defined functions?
What?
User defined functions. So what are all different
Hello?
user defined functions are available? Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, the scalar and table valued functions.
Okay. So, okay. There is one more thing. One more
Yeah,
multi-statement valid functions.
yeah, multi-state.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you don't know anything about the collation?
Hello?
Collation.
Yeah, I have learned, but
Mhm.
yeah, I'm not able to retrieve them.
Yeah. Uh, see, the thing is like the whatever questions which you don't know, just make a note of it and make sure that you learn that. Okay.
Mm.
So the collation is like it's a
Yeah,
different
sure,
set of
sure.
rules. Actually, rules determines how character data can be stored and compared. Okay, and say that like it's used to compare
Okay.
no compare of two different languages characters. Also depends on width of the character. So when you want to compare it, right? So that time you just go ahead and use the collation. Okay, there are different type of collations: case
Okay.
sensitivity, okay, accent sensitivity, okay, kana sensitivity, okay, there's something like Japanese or
Mm.
something characters you can just compare that.
Mm.
Width sensitivity, single byte characters and double bytes
Okay.
characters you can just go ahead
Okay.
and
Yeah, got it. Got it.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So do you know online transaction process, OLTP?
Hello.
Online
Hello.
trans
Yeah, I'm not able to hear you. Hello.
Can you hear me now? Is it clear?
Yeah. I'm able to hear you now.
Yeah, I'm asking about OLTP, online transaction processing. Have you heard of this?
Yeah, by making use of our transactions, I will be performing a stored procedures like a begin, end.
Mm-hmm.
Within a transactions, we'll be performing like callback,
Mm-hmm.
all these things, right?
Yeah, actually, this is something like
Sorry,
mainly
rollback.
deals with bank transaction or daily basis, something like that. So this is a processing
Yeah.
manage a
So
transaction
OOTB
based on the
transaction
application.
is something like when a transaction.
Mhm.
Hello.
Yes, 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 yes. Go ahead.
Yeah. So OOTB transaction is something like
Mhm.
suppose if we are in a bank, we are working on a bank project. What will happen is,
Mhm.
suppose I'm taking a money from the ATM, and
Mhm.
I did not get the money, but I have my account has been debited. So
Mhm.
what should happen is again it should be refunded to me.
Mhm.
So in that case only the transaction comes into pictures. So where it should be rolled back again. So from that point where it left.
Okay. And you can expect a question like, what is a recursive store procedure? What do you mean by recursive store procedure?
Yeah, because yeah, recursive store procedure is something like
Mhm.
the I have written a store procedure and it needs to be used at a different point of for a store another store procedure. So in that time, I could just call this procedure and make it recursive.
No, actually, recursive is something like it calls itself. This procedure it calls itself until it
Yeah.
takes some boundary condition that is called as recursive store procedures.
Okay.
So at least so
Okay.
it
Same as a
helps
recursive method.
exactly right. So it calls himself. So that's called as recursive.
Okay. Okay.
So
Okay.
recursive function or procedures help programs to use the same set of code at any number of time based on some condition, right?
Okay.
So that
Yeah.
is something.
You mean, yeah, like a Fibonacci series which we write.
Yeah. So you can also have a look into union, minus, and interact comments. So what is the use of union, minus, and interact comments?
Okay. Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So after that, what you can expect like alias comments. Alias. What do you mean by alias? Alias.
Alias, no, I
Example,
think
you
alias
define a
means
table
you're
name. You
providing, right?
like example, select star from employee, and follow that you'll give one more name, EMP.
Mm.
That name is called as alias name. Okay.
Okay, as by using as symbol
Yes,
we'll be
yes,
giving, right?
as will be given.
Employee
Yeah.
as in.
Exactly. Like here,
Okay,
you
okay.
don't
Yeah.
need to give it as. You just provide example like select star from employees followed by the EMP. If you just whatever you provide EMP, right, that calls as alias. So later when you're querying it, you can
Okay,
just
okay.
use that EMP to query your data. Okay.
Okay,
And
yeah.
next one expected would be aggregate functions and scalar functions. Brush up your knowledge on that. Okay. And
Yeah,
how
sure,
like
sure.
like the thing is like uh, I guess pretty much okay with your SQL. And there are a few more things I just want you to brush up. Like you have heard of CTE?
Hello?
CTE. Have you heard of CTE? Common type expression.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me
Yeah,
now?
no.
You
Yeah,
never
I'm
used.
able to hear you.
Yeah, you never used CTE.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, please brush up your knowledge on CTE as well. Yeah, it was very good. Thanks for
Sure.
giving interview, Rahul. And I could see you are a good candidate for .NET profile and as well as for Angular. So I would rate you as out of 5. You are pretty much good in C sharp, and I can say in C sharp you are like 3.5 out of 5. Okay. In Angular also do pretty much
Okay.
good, and you can say like 3.5. So I want you to just press up on SQL Server. So it's something like you just I would
Sure,
like
sure.
to see.
Okay,
So you're
okay.
definitely a validated candidate, being like well, 4 to 5 experienced, and you have very good knowledge on like OOPS concept and all other things. And yeah, definitely you will
Sure.
get scored and select in multiple companies. So thank you for giving this mock interview, and they will definitely, it will help the people who are looking for job change. And thanks guys, thanks for
Okay, okay.
watching
Thank
the
you.
watching the
Thanks a lot.
video. And this is Rahul, and is just help you guys to just clear a interview. This is just a mock interview for not Angular, C sharp, and SQL Server. So hope these questions will help you a lot to clear your interviews. And thanks so much for watching, and thanks for your time. Thank you so much.